Oh boy, well, welcome everybody to the latest edition of Reaching the Pinnacle. We are live as always from our sunny downtown Topeka. Actually, we're not downtown, just so anybody realizes, but sunny Oceanside, Topeka, Kansas, at the Pinnacle Studio, in front of a live studio audience. And
we're pretty rowdy today, too.
Pretty rowdy today. That's why we're a little late getting started, but now that we're here, it's good to be back. It's good to be on the airwaves with you. It's good to see you, sir.
Thank you.
So we have a humdinger for everyone today. We have quite the show.
Yeah, it looks like it. You just sprung a bunch of stuff on me I wasn't expecting. So
well, people listen to us, I guess, ironically, and it's not just us out there talking into space.
I was kind of hoping that would stop so we could just kill the show off.
Give us a reason to not have to do public speaking anymore.
We'll just continue though until the questions stop.
So people that I associate with at my job listen, surprisingly, again, and I was bombarded over the last, I guess it's been about 3 weeks since we last had a show, and I was hit with some questions, so I think we're going to answer some questions today, and we're going to try to finally dive into that article that we've been teasing about for the last 3 shows.
The 20-year-old article?
The 20-year-old article. What's the month on that bad boy?
I think it was April. It is almost 20.
Almost 20 years. Holy moly.
19 years old.
That's amazing. So and if you should know that voice by now, everybody, and that grunt, that's of course Brandon, the owner and co-host of the show. So, what do you want to start with today?
Well, those questions, I guess, would be. I know we're going to discuss this article here, but by the time we get to those questions, maybe who knows if we'll get to the article. So, I guess we'll get going real quick on these questions and see if we can answer those or shed any light on those, and maybe we'll go over some of these tips from this old magazine here and see if we think they're still relevant.
Oh yeah, I am.
So I'm ready when you are.
All right, cool. I'm just media blasting right now. I'm doing my thing as the engineer and the social media. Cool. All right. So the first question.
Where are these are from somebody just random at work?
These are questions that I've gotten through 5 different people over the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
And again, if you are listening, we are live. So if you are listening on your Spreaker app, go ahead and hit that chat button, and you can ask us questions as we go, or you can comment along with us, or just tell us how good or how bad of a job we're doing. So the first question that we're going to tackle is, I got asked, how do we feel about using test boosters?
Like me or you? Who wants to go first?
Well, if you want to go first, you can. Let me clarify. There's a couple.
Go ahead.
There's a couple of different test boosters. This person's using like you've got like the herbal stuff like Yohimbe and stuff like that. But this person's using like a test booster, like a supplement test booster.
Well, I usually don't advocate any kind of use of a testosterone booster. Mainly, one reason would be I think most of them are probably very ineffective, probably to the point of worthless. I can't say that for, I don't have enough experience with anything like that to conclusively say 100%. Maybe somebody has a good story or experience, but in my opinion, most of the time you're probably overpriced, probably not going to work that well. I do tell people that if you have some kind of an issue with testosterone level, go see your doctor first and foremost, because then if there is something going on, they might be able to help you a lot better than trying to get something over the counter somewhere that you don't even know really.
Yeah, and the chance of actually having something working is probably a little better through your doctor, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a real testosterone replacement program that's actually needed and is actually monitored from an actual physician, it'll be a lot more effective and safer. And a lot of people are like, wow, you think that actually that, using an actual testosterone, product, actual testosterone, instead of some kind of a enhancer or booster is safer. And I don't know if it's safer, but it's probably as safe, and at least it's monitored.
Yeah,
it's like with any medication. I mean, you just got to be smart.
Right.
If you have somebody monitoring it.
Yeah, and by monitoring means you're
blood
going to go
work,
in for regular
you
check
actually know
works
what
and
your
blood work. Yeah.
test levels are versus just, well, I assume I'm low. Well, how do you know you're low?
I'm a little sleepy lately.
You have to go to the doctor to have that tested by in a lab test.
Right, yeah.
And even then, there'll be debate on what's acceptable and all of that.
Exactly.
But they ask some questions that you can probably, if you're really low, you'll probably know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, and then so since we are diving back into a 20-year-old article, let's go back 20 years and talk about maybe what would maybe be the difference between like a pro hormone and a test booster.
Again, I am not a doctor, but I remember that the pro hormone scene was pretty big probably back 20 years ago or 15, 20 years ago, and I remember seeing people, and I never experimented with them, so I don't, again, personally, but
Sure.
I remember people talking that they were fairly effective, it seemed like. But again, how do you know what
Right.
you're getting, what you're using, and what kind of risk you're putting your body under? Always, I just think, go to a physician, go to your doctor, tell them, get a test. They have a lot of clinics now around the United States that actually specialize in this.
Yeah, like
They're
wellness clinics and stuff.
Yeah, hormone replacement clinics and these kind of things. I mean, they're perfectly legitimate. They're safe. as
Usually a
far as I
doctor
know.
is the one working there.
An actual doctor works there. And so go talk to your doctor. There's nothing you're going to buy over the counter at GNC or
Right.
Complete Nutrition or whatever that's going to be that effective. Or
Right.
really, again, I'm stressing the safety.
Sure.
How do you really know? I mean, I just worry about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you never know what's
Unless it's
going
a
on.
protein powder or something real basic. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess
Well,
with it.
and I know that, obviously one is a booster, so it's supposed to boost what you already have. And then with the pro hormones, if I remember correctly, the science behind it was they give you an incomplete molecule of a steroid, and your body is going to be intuitive enough to be able to complete the chain, and therefore it ends up being a steroid, which is why they, I think, were able to sell them, but then I think that implication is why they were pulled off the market. So I agree. I especially the younger you are, don't mess with your hormones. You're probably perfectly fine. And just because you want to be a little bit bigger or a little bit stronger or a little bit faster,
Yeah, it's
work hard.
That stuff's never worth it.
Yep,
It's
absolutely.
not. It's just not.
Next question. Very good. So what are the best cardios? So this person asked a twofold question. Okay, and the first fold, I guess, if you will, is what are the best cardio exercises? Like, what are
I
good
know what I
cardio?
prefer, but
Yeah, zero diet. Zero
Okay,
exercises.
go ahead.
Zero cardio exercises is, I think, the common consensus because nobody likes cardio. But as far as I don't know, and the question I think can go down like what's the most effective or what's the easiest to do for somebody that may be beginning.
I would say the most effective is the kind that you can stick to. So whether it's high intensity, whether it's what did you call it, slow, steady state.
Oh, yeah, steady state, low and
this kind of
slow.
stuff. I mean, there's 100 different names out there. It seems like for different kinds of cardio. I mean, I've always felt like you can look at it two ways. If you're doing cardio for a cardiovascular benefit, you probably need to get your heart rate up.
Yep, gotta amp it a
so
little
that you're not going to probably do that very efficiently walking at 2 miles an hour on a treadmill.
Right.
Now, if you're looking at it from more perspective of how do I just burn extra calories to maybe potentially burn more body fat, something like that, I've always been a bigger fan of slower cardio to do that. Just
Sure.
walking,
Sure.
maybe, I do a lot of mine on the treadmill, just like 2.5, 3, maybe at an incline. Do a lot of it just walking outside.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking about specifically, again, more to kind of look at burning body fat. So reason for that, I think that the lower intensity, I think you start putting a lot of stress if you're going real high intensity, maybe at somewhat of a higher risk to burn muscle. I don't necessarily know if that's true. That's what I've been kind of told.
Yeah.
But again, that's more of when you're doing slow, it's more of a calorie in versus out equation.
Sure.
Instead of a cardiovascular, benefit for your heart and lungs type stuff.
Right.
So, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's you're right on the money. I think honestly, when you're looking to increase your heart and your lung health, I think you need to amp it up. And honestly, amping it up for 30 or 40 minutes is probably kind of counterproductive. Which is where I think an interval or even a high intensity interval training would come into play. Get yourself, whether you do a walk versus a jog, or whether you do like a sprint versus a standstill, or even like maybe some body weight. And I'm not a big fan of lifting weights in an interval cardio scenario, because I think the propensity for injury is very high between fatigue and between reckless movements. But like if you're doing a sprint on a treadmill and then decide to do some body weight squats or push-ups and sit-ups or something, that's fine. But the key is maintaining a heart rate at a certain level.
At a certain length of time.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about maintaining the high level, and then you'll benefit from that. Even with the low and slow, or the steady state, or just a low-intensity cardio, you have to get your heart rate to a certain level.
Did they ask for a certain goal on the question, or was it just generally what was better?
So the context of the question is basically the person that asked this question is trying to lose weight, and I guess just doesn't want to waste time and doesn't know what the best choice is. Mm-hmm. And so I think honestly the answer is a little bit of both, really. I don't know.
But it always varies. Based on individual, and a lot of it will be depending upon what they eat, what they're eating, what their other training schedule is. If they're doing a lot of, tons and tons of high volume weight training, that may offset the need for some cardio. If you're doing real short, intense sessions, 20, 30, 40 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week, kind of like we do, maybe need a little more.
Yeah.
I always thought when it came to weight loss, I always took two approaches. And that was, okay, I'm going to either reduce calories or increase cardio, and not usually at the same time. Usually I would just wait as long as possible with, you let the diet work as long as it works. Mm-hmm. And then when I felt like the need to make another change, maybe I would introduce a little bit of cardio. Sure. Because I was usually doing none. or a little bit more if I was doing some. Or I would further reduce food a little bit. Right. I didn't like to just... I don't recommend people going in and trying to lose weight and like, okay, I'm going from doing no cardio a day to doing an hour every day. I'm going to go from eating whatever I want to, chicken and broccoli and, oatmeal or whatever, cold turkey. Right. That approach is too much stress on your body. You can't handle it emotionally and mentally for more than most people can for a week or two. It's not a long-term solution. Metabolism slows down anyway. Right. So essentially just do a little bit at a time, whether you're adding cardio or reducing food. Now, again, this is from a weight loss perspective. Right. I'm not talking again about cardiovascular health for the sake. Sure. Now, if that were the question, then you might want to take a different approach. Right. But if it's strictly weight loss, then
I think it's ultimately up to your goal. Whatever your goal is. And we've said this numerous times. A lot of people will come in brand new, and into a gym situation or into a trainer situation, and then one of the first things you'll hear is, I don't want to look like you, or I don't want to look like a bodybuilder, or I don't want to look like they do in the magazines. I just want to be a little bit more fit, and a little bit toned, like a...
Yeah, that's a pretty common thing.
So if that's your goal, you have to train for that. Like, you won't look like a bodybuilder if you're not training to look like a bodybuilder. So again, you have to apply the type of work to the type of goal you're making.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, there's certain body types. I think we've discussed that. I mean, certain people have certain genetic gifts to be better at a certain activity or sport than others, and so obviously, if you're 6'8" and long and lanky, you probably have a much better chance of being a very good basketball player than somebody who's 5'2" and stocky and muscular. I mean, right. And so you're going to have certain body types just naturally occurring, just however you were made, and they may have a better chance of being good at a particular sport. Right. But at the end of the day, you still have to train for that particular sport or activity to, really